She has proven that she is grace under fire, but she's got fight in her. And I want people to know that. She sees things, she goes, gets them, and she empowers people along the way. I'm Lydia Edwards. I'm the District City Councilor for East Boston, Charlestown, and the North End. I was a new activist in a movement for domestic workers, nannies and house cleaners, immigrant women. I'd heard of this woman named Michelle, but I didn't really know her. We were introduced and she immediately embraced the movement and brought us into City Hall and passed a resolution in support of the Domestic Worker Bill of Rights, which we ultimately passed later that year. I wasn't in politics, but here was a politician who I was meeting for the first time, and all she could do was empower me as a young activist. I was incredibly impressed with her. Michelle's been on the City Council for 8 years, and she is running to be our next mayor. I'm proud of her because of our shared values and that she's bold when she expresses them, and she brings people along and forms a coalition. So join me. Join me in voting for Michelle. Join me in supporting Michelle. And make sure that you go to michelleforboston.com/events to learn about all the different ways in which we can knock on doors, make phone calls, and make sure that Michelle wins this fall. Of recovery. No one can say that they weren't impacted by 2020. Fewer and fewer of us can actually say that we've been made whole or that things are just fine. We watched George Floyd get murdered, and we saw a racial reckoning emerge around the country. We were isolated from each other. We were angry. Some were financially crippled. And many people still to this day have no idea how they're going to care for their children. We have the right to question all systems and how things are going. So we need a leader today that can see the moment and create a movement that brings us together. And that is Michelle. Today, Michelle is that person because of so much of what she's already done. Today, Michelle is that person because of who she has inspired and who she has empowered along the way. Michelle is that person because of the innovative, hopeful, excited vision for our future that she has promoted since day one. She sees the silver lining. She inspires me and so many others to see the rainbows at the end of the storm. All that she has done is based on her love of Boston, and because she is protective of our city. No one else I know believes in what government can do, especially at the local level. So much of what the city is doing today is based on the legacy and ideas of what Michelle did before. Look at our parental leave policies and the movement we have today to update them. Look at the digital infrastructure. Michelle was there. She did those things before. And we're now updating our language access policies to make sure, again, that more people are included. But Michelle introduced those things. Michelle sees Boston for the incredible city that it is and the bright, beautiful future that we have.
Una hermana en cada momento que lo necesito. Tú es la fundación de una visión de nuestro futuro. Esta elección es sobre el futuro de nuestra ciudad, de cada comunidad, cada barrio y las oportunidades que un gobierno municipal puede crear cuando cada persona puede ser parte del proceso de la infraestructura y este momento. I'm so grateful to someone who I count as an inspiration, a friend, a sister in the work. I remember at this point and hearing from all around how it would not be possible. It would not be possible to be elected because Boston was a city that did not tend to support women of color, young people, people not born in this city. That it would not be possible to bring into reality those ideas that we were talking about and that we were building coalitions around. When I compare this for working families, for immigrant communities, for young people and seniors, and those who often have felt that it has been pointless to engage with government, so far separated from the structures of power, I realized that those early moments when we were running to change what was possible was to create the pathways for people like Lydia to be in positions all across our city, state, and beyond. And I've seen what a difference it makes when we come together to redefine what is possible, to believe in the transformative power of every single person being part of our city, our government, shaping our future. These communities that we are talking about today, centering on Councillor Edwards' transformative leadership, the neighborhoods of East Boston, Charlestown, the North End, and recognizing, of course, that her impact has gone far beyond the borders of her district. But even if we just talk about the families that she directly represents as city councilor, we have seen an urgency in the issues, standing right here, of what our city will look like. Thunderstorms, heavy rain, high heat, air quality. What we are facing today and what we will face 5, 10, 50, 100 years in the future are directly within grasp of the policymaking that we are engaging in today. The communities in this district are touched by all of the issues we are trying to push. Housing that people can afford, schools that are excellent and supportive and nurturing for every single one of our kids, jobs that not just put food on the table, but give dignity, wages and benefits that match the effort and the labor put in, and that are truly connected to the job pathways of the future. Boston is a city that has always shaped the trajectory of history far beyond our borders. We have done it since we gave birth to American democracy. We have done it since we invented public education in this country, since we built the first subway tunnel in the United States, since we created parks and waterways that everyone could share in and benefit from. And that is a spirit that we need to meet this moment. That we don't have to wait for other levels of government or for a moment far into the future where we'll be responding to a crisis. We have everything we need right here with our communities to be leading that charge in our city, across our Commonwealth, and across our country. Boston can take the same steps that we need to recover from this pandemic that also are what we need to close the gaps that have been plaguing our city for far too long, to center racial justice in every bit of policy making and funding and programming that we put forward, and fundamentally to center on la gente, the people of Boston, whose futures depend on leadership in this moment, and whose activism and leadership have been putting forward solutions long before this pandemic. Now is the moment for us to bring people into the conversation, to empower every community to be part of government and shaping our future, to get City Hall out of City Hall, into the streets, into our neighborhoods, our bodegas, our barbershops and salons and restaurants, to know and listen to what our people, our constituents, our residents and families are grappling with, the hopes and fears and dreams, and to build that coalition to deliver what we need and to pave the way for the rest of the country. So I couldn't be prouder today to stand with someone who I treasure and to be in a community that I have worked with for so many years, to know that what we need is what we already have today, and we just need to bring that sense of community building, momentum, and a fierce, relentless passion for what we could do together into City Hall, into the mayor's office. Thank you everyone for being here with us today. I also like knowing being up here with someone who understands when your hair is being messed up constantly by the wind. Any questions? Good? Thank you everyone. 55 days to go.